Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. What if I told you video editors are already obsolete? I know it sounds pretty crazy, right? But today we're unpacking a really explosive source that is making exactly that claim. They're arguing that new AI tools from OpenAI have literally killed traditional video editing forever. So let's get into it. The source we're looking at paints this hyper specific, kind of terrifying picture for the industry. They say, picture a freelance video editor making 5 grand a month. Gone. Just completely replaced by a tool that literally anyone can use for free. And they really stress this point. This is not some far off science fiction future. This massive disruption, it's happening right now, today. So the crucial point is, why is traditional editing under such heavy fire here? Well, the source sets it up as this ultimate bottleneck. Before they even show off the shiny new tech, they really want to remind us just how painful, slow, and cumbersome the old way of doing things supposedly is. I mean, if you've ever tried to edit a video, you absolutely know this pain, right? You've got those messy timelines with literally hundreds of scattered clips. You've got the incredibly tedious math of color grading. And oh man, the headache of perfectly syncing your audio tracks. The source really drives home that traditional editing is essentially a walled garden, and the barrier to entry is this massive, steep mountain of specialized technical skills. And you know, all of those hurdles, they cost a ton of time. 6 grueling hours. According to the source, that is exactly what it takes to produce just a single, standard video using the old methods. Think about that. 6 solid hours of just wrestling with timelines and audio tracks. But hey, it's not just about the time, right? It's also the money. They quote $200 per video. So by pairing that steep financial cost with those 6 hours of manual labor, the source paints traditional editing as this massive, entirely unsustainable drain on resources, especially in today's super fast-paced digital economy. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the tension completely clears. The source just drops their big solution, the instant AI workflow. They introduce this new OpenAI interface that completely abandons those complex timelines we just talked about and replaces them with absolute pure simplicity. Honestly, it's basically meant to look like magic. So here is the exact sequence they show, and the insane speed is really the whole point here. Step 1, you just type a prompt. Step 2, the AI generates the full edited video. Step 3, captions just auto-populate. Step 4, it applies professional color grading. And step 5, it syncs the music perfectly to the cuts. The source is enthusiastically claiming that all these massive hurdles just happen seamlessly, right in real time. You type it in, and the machine literally does the rest. Which brings us right to the absolute core of their argument. 6 hours versus 8 seconds. The source puts these metrics head to head, creating this almost absurd juxtaposition, you know? It's completely designed to make the new AI option look undeniably superior. This right here is really the emotional peak of their whole argument. Let's break it down. On the left side, you've got 6 hours of work, $200, and years of specialized skills required. On the right side, 8 seconds of waiting with AI, completely free and requiring absolutely zero technical skill. The stark difference there is perfectly designed to make you look at this and conclude that the old way of doing things is just entirely irrational now. Of course, wild claims like that need some solid backing, right? Well, the source doesn't just ask us to take their word for it. They flash these viral tweets and highly upvoted Reddit posts to prove that the AI's 8-second output actually matches or maybe even beats human effort. Basically, they're saying, hey, look, the whole internet is validating this flawless result. It's not just us. Let's move to and see how this builds, because the disruption definitely doesn't stop at just video editors. The presentation shifts into what we can call the industry fallout. It expands from being this cool tool demonstration into a much darker, much broader warning about the future of all creative work. The source explicitly puts graphic designers, copywriters, and photographers right on the chopping block next. And honestly, their logic makes a certain kind of sense. They argue that if an incredibly complex, multi-layered task like video editing can be reduced to just an 8-second text prompt, well, then static images and words are really easy targets. It's presented as a massive wake-up call to the entire creative sector. And all of this leads to a really stark, totally uncompromising conclusion from the source. They state flatly, the only people who survive are the ones who learn to use these tools. They clearly view this technological wave as way too fast and way too big to fight. In their eyes, you either learn to pilot the AI or the AI replaces you. Simple as that. Ultimately, though, this entire presentation is basically a highly engaging funnel, leading right to a specific pitch. At the end, the source strongly urges viewers to subscribe to a platform called AI Unlocked, and they promise to teach you about a new tool every single day. So they agitate the problem, they present the magic AI solution, and then they position themselves as your essential daily survival guide for this new era. And finally, they leave their audience with this lingering, super provocative question. Which job is AI taking next? I mean, we've just seen their incredibly compelling case for how an 8-second workflow could completely upend a $5,000 a month profession. So whether you find this prospect incredibly exciting or absolutely terrifying, their argument is undeniably powerful. You now know what 99% of people don't. I'll leave you with that exact question to ponder. Let me know which job you think is next in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.